Honkai Star Rail has been out for almost a year now, and if you're just jumping into the game or have been playing it for a while, I think now is a good time to take a look at some of the 4-star characters as well as standard banner 5 stars, because the game has plenty of cool modes you can clear, like Memory of Chaos, Pure Fiction, and Simulated Universe. I know there's tons of information out there about these modes, and you might feel overwhelmed how to approach them, especially if you're a beginner or casual player. So in this video, let's take a look at some of the units that will help you understand the game better. And starting with the first one in this list, I feel like Beifen often gets overlooked because she's supposed to be in damage over time teams, which is fine, but she does pack a punch even outside these teams, especially if you're just starting out in the game and want to build a solid roster of characters. And the thing is, she has a couple of great selling points, the first one being her talent. You see, she can apply Burn DOT with her skill, and later on, when you unlock her Major Trace Standing Ovation, her basic attacks can also inflict burn. And when the enemy receives burn damage at the start of their turn, or when Beifen uses her ultimate, which can immediately detonate burn, they will then receive this Fire Kiss debuff, which will increase all damage the enemies take by up to 7% if you level up the talent. And there can be a total of 3 stacks, so that's potentially 21% damage vulnerability. This is great because not that many characters can offer damage vulnerability, and even outside DOT teams, she can do wonders for you, especially if you're going up against a single target, which is usually going to be a boss or an elite, because then she will be a skill point positive unit. What this means is that since you need to spend skill points, well, to activate your team skills, Beifen can just spam her basic attack, generate skill points, and still maintain burn plus Fire Kiss on the enemy. Although keep in mind that she is a bit of a special case because you will need to keep investing resources into her to get the best results. However, if you unlock her early when you're just starting out, this won't be a problem since you'll just want to keep investing into her as you keep playing. And best of all, if you pull Black Swan or Kafka, she will be an amazing support / damage dealer for the DOT archetype. So yeah, she's a really great character for some of these DOT team variations, but at the same time, you could easily use her in a more general team comp like this one, where you just want to utilize her Fire Kiss debuff and damage. Xingqiu, also known as QQ, has come a long way from being a meme character to a powerhouse that she is today. If you love pulling for characters, then QQ doubles down and expects you to gamble with her skill, and let me tell you, when she gets those 4 same tiles, it just feels so satisfying when she unleashes a ton of damage. And the thing is, you can obtain her for free by just completing the 3rd Forgotten Hall stage, which is super easy, barely an inconvenience. What's even better, she's also available at the Starlight Exchange shop as of making this video, and she rotates twice. So instead of grabbing the 7 summons, you could instead obtain an additional copy, because after unlocking her 4th Eidolon, she can potentially utilize additional big damage bonuses. But even before this Eidolon, she's a really good long-term unit you can focus on, because eventually, if you keep picking up her Eidolon, her E6 will even recover skill points. And yeah, because of Sparkle, QQ has become even better than before thanks to Sparkle's ultimate, which can restore skill points that QQ happily consumes when digging for J tiles with her skill. And right now, she is especially relevant if you build her for a mono quantum team. But outside of these teams, she is still a good hyper carry damage dealer, and her performance is pretty insane for a 4-star. Although you will need to put in the resources, but if you keep investing into her, the payoff is going to be huge. Here's an example of free-to-play team you could go for with Xingqiu, with some alternatives and upgrades to consider for the future. Now, while damage dealers are always exciting to use, you will want to use support characters to witness your damage dealer's full potential. And luckily, Star Rail has some of the best free-to-play 4-stars we could ask for. The trifecta, Tingyun, Pela, and Asta are here to help the majority of teams you want to build. For example, Tingyun can provide a massive attack buff with her skill and a giant damage buff with her ultimate, which also restores 50 energy, and it is so crucial for so many damage dealers, since it allows them to activate their ultimates more often. I mean, worst case scenario, you could even use her ultimate on other healers to help save your team if you're about to wipe to a big enemy attack. Honestly, not much else needs to be said about her. She's extremely useful for nearly any content in the game, and a lot of hyper carry teams like this one will love her. And same goes for Pela. Not only can she apply AoE defense reduction on enemies, which is a huge damage increase, but her skill can also dispel a buff from an enemy, and guys like Shapeshifter tremble when they see this 4-eyed girl. But best of all, Pela is a skill point positive character, since you will only occasionally use her skill to dispel annoying buffs, which means this leaves your main damage dealer with more skill points to unleash their full power. Finally, there's Asta. You get her for free by just playing the game, and man, does she provide a ton of value, both for beginners and longtime players. Thanks to her ultimate, she can provide a massive speed buff, which will result in your team taking more actions over the fight, while at the same time, she can also provide a chunky attack boost for everyone thanks to her talent. On top of that, if you're running her in fire teams like this one, her major trace, Ignite, just straight up provides 18% fire damage increase for everyone, so she can be a great specialized unit for fire teams, while at the same time, she's an overall amazing free-to-play unit you can use to boost team speed, which can be especially relevant in the early game, when enemy speed stats are low, and you just abuse them with extra turns everyone will be taking before they can even say anything to you. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see Herta doing so well these days. Before Pure Fiction, she was an okay character, especially for quickly farming some content. But now, thanks to this specific Pure Fiction challenge, which is currently called an Expression of Eloquence, she is a beast when it comes to clearing it. You see, Herta specializes in unleashing tons of follow-up attacks, and you can select one buff before challenging the stage, which can range from boosting follow-up damage to advancing forward your team's turns when using follow-up attacks. While at the same time, there's also another buff that deals a lot of damage to enemies when enough damage is accumulated from follow-up attacks. Basically, Herta for this Pure Fiction rotation is an amazing choice, and you can collect a lot of rewards by clearing it before every reset. And what's even better, you can easily obtain her for free by just doing the introductory Simulated Universe quest, and afterwards, you can even unlock up to 4 of her Eidolons completely for free as you keep clearing Simulated Universe worlds. And as for her teams, here's an example archetype you could go for, which works well for Pure Fiction. But you know who else is great with follow-up attacks? Himiko. That's right, she's also excellent for this Pure Fiction challenge. And she also works great with Asta and Beifen, 2 of the characters I've already covered in this video, since all 3 of them can synergize really well together when utilizing burn DOTs and burn damage. In fact, let's quickly talk about some of the 5-star characters you could potentially use. I'm sure you already heard good things about Dr. Ratio, a featured 5-star that's been given away for free by Star Rail developers, and you could easily build a team with 4 stars like Pela, Tingyun, and one of the free healers to go and beat some Memory of Chaos stages. On the other hand, there's also 5 stars from the standard banner you can obtain, especially since one of them can be selected from the banner after 300 summons. And you could also obtain one of them if you lose your 50-50, so chances are you might have some of them already in your roster. And obviously, if you have Bronya, she's one of the best supports in the game. Use her with any hybrid carry and enable them to deal tons of damage. But some of the less talked about characters like Clara is also great for Pure Fiction. You can either build a team that's similar to Dr. Ratio's, or just put her into a comp with another damage dealer, and she can then act as a tank plus follow-up damage dealer. Welt can also be an amazing unit to pair with Dr. Ratio or a few other DPS units like Imbiber Lune Danhang, since he can easily slow the enemies down and provide nice damage himself. And of course, if you want to sustain damage, Japard is here to protect you with his big beefy shield, and if you're one of those players who love playing Yanqing, Japard can help protect this little frail dude, so he can potentially maintain his talent without taking damage, while Japard is busy tanking and shielding the team. Alright, so in this game, healers are pretty important, and by that I mean you will want to build at least 2 of them if you care about Memory of Chaos, unless you have Japard or another sustain unit like Fushuan, who can help with surviving the stages. And the thing is, you can easily obtain Natasha for free, while Lynx can be obtained by clearing the 2nd stage of Pure Fiction. And the enemies here are level 65, which is about mid-game in terms of account progress, so it's not gonna be that hard to do it to get Lynx, which will then allow you to build 2 full teams with 1 healer on each side if you want to go for Memory of Chaos. Obviously, this is me assuming you don't have any other 5-star healer, but Lynx in particular is an amazing free-to-play unit because she can cleanse with her ultimate and provide healing over time, and if her skill targets a destruction or preservation unit, it will increase the likelihood of that unit to be attacked by enemies. So for example, if you have Blade, he can build his stacks faster, or if it's Clara, she can unleash more follow-up attacks in response. Overall, a lot of the characters I talked about in this video can help you progress in this game, especially if you're a beginner or casual player who wants to take a stab at Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction challenges, both of which can provide good amount of resources and stellar jades. Remember, if you're struggling to beat a certain stage, the most important thing is to at least do them before the cycle resets, since then you can at least obtain some of the rewards, which is absolutely better than just ignoring them. But at the end of the day, decide on your own who you want to build, and just make sure to enjoy enjoy the game at your own pace. Don't feel pressured to pull for certain characters, and if you have the time, always check out some guides to understand how to play your favorite character better. Anyway, hope you found this video useful, and I'd appreciate it if you could press the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.